Hey guys, so today I'm going to be teaching you how to use the pen tool from Adobe Illustrator. So let's just get started. I'm going to select, hold, and select the pen tool here. And I'm just going to click any spot on the white canvas, and immediately you're going to see it's going to want to draw a straight line. So we're just going to click anywhere on the page. We're going to click here, and it's kind of like a connect the dots. I have it on fill, so we want to take it off of that. And we're going to go properties. I'm just going to make the stroke a little bigger so you can see it. So essentially it's like connect the dots right now. It's just drawing with straight lines. And if you want a logo or a design with straight lines, it's totally perfect for you. And when you want to complete your shape, say this is what I want, I'm going to bring it back and click on the original anchor point. And you're going to see the little circle beside that anchor point before I clicked it. And then you create a shape. So you can create a shape, or if you want, again, you can just create individual lines. And again, if that's what you want as well, if you want to click off, you can either hit Command and click, or you can just hit Escape. So either of those are going to work. So if you want to create a line or an actual shape, either is going to work. So we're going to actually work with the shape right now. So if I select this here, I'm going to hit Command or Control on a Windows computer, and you're going to see a bunch of options appear right here. So you see these little circles here, they're going to determine your roundness of your shape. So it'll essentially control the corners. Right now our corners are very sharp and pointed, but say I don't want that, I want to create something more soft, I'm going to click this and I'm going to drag it down. Now those red lines there show maximum roundness. So this is as round as your shape is going to get here within the shape. So if I want to maybe have a little bit of a blend between sharp and round, I'm going to drag it there so it's just not sharp but it's also not round. I can do that as well. But essentially these are going to determine roundness. You can do them all at once, or you can do individual. It's totally up to you, depending on, again, what you need for your logo, your design, or whatever. Another option that comes up, I'm just going to make this all back to the original pointed shape. Now, if I want to actually adjust the physical point itself and its location, I can also do that. Illustrator is super versatile, and you can change whatever you create. So I'm going to hit that Command or Control button again. I'm going to double click, because if I don't double click, I'm going to move the shape, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to double click on this anchor, and I can move this to wherever I want. Say I want it to go out instead of in, I can do that. And then maybe this is a little awkward, so I'm going to drag this down. Essentially play with it until you have a shape that you want or you like. Now this is just, again, with pointed and straight lines. You can do round lines, and I'll teach you how to do that in a second, but here's how you adjust the individual roundness. If you just want this side to be round, you can totally play around with those options until you get something that you like. But for now, I'm going to scrap this whole thing. And let's try to see if we can actually make a curve rather than rounding out lines later. So we're going to start with a point again, and it's going to want to give you that straight point. That's okay. So you're going to want to click anywhere at all, and you're going to hold and then drag instead of just clicking. So again, I'm just going to go over that again. If I click and hold and drag, I can create that curve or arc right away rather than rounding later. So let's say I want this kind of curve. You can play around with the angles or whatever. So immediately it's going to give you the option of doing another curve. It's not going to give you that straight line like we wanted before. So if I wanted to do a straight line this way, it's only giving me options for curves. So if I don't want that, I recommend just clicking on this point again, and then you can do a straight line. You can choose to do another curve if you want to click and drag. Then it'll give the option to curve again. So I just go back and click on that point, and then I can click the individual straight lines. Again, making a shape. I can do some curves in there. I can do some more straight lines until I go back to that initial anchor point, and you'll see that circle that will close your shape. So this is the shape I have right now, and I'm not too happy with it. So I'm going to maybe make it a little larger. And let's see. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And I think that I need to get rid of some of the points. So I'm going to click and hold on my pen tool option here, and I'm going to delete an anchor point. So this will give me the option to get rid of any of these points. See, I don't like this point right here. I'm going to delete it. And automatically Illustrator is going to fill in the gap between the two anchor points left. If I was to delete this point, again, it's going to fill in that gap. Let's say I want that, so I'm just going to undo that action. Now I'm having the opposite problem, so I'm going to hold this down. I'm going to add an anchor point. Say I want an anchor point right about here. I can click anywhere on the path. It can be on a curve. I'm going to also add one here. And notice you're also going to see these handles here. So first, select the direct selection tool, click down Command or Control on a Windows, and you're going to hold that down, and then you're going to adjust your handles. Okay? So you're going to adjust them. Say I want to do a little more of a wavy effect, and I want it to kind of protrude out that way. I can do that. I can make a little bit of a knot there if I wanted to, but I'm gonna do it a little more. I'm just gonna try to make it a little more curved. See, for curves specifically, I prefer to use the Curvature Tool, and you're gonna see this little target just when I hover over the point here, the anchor, and it'll give you a nice smoother curve than if you were to just use the pen tool. And it'll make that nice for you, so you don't need to finick around with the pen tool. It'll just give you a nice smooth curve, if that's what you want. If you want to mess around with pen tool and be more manual, go for it, but this is just my personal preference. It automatically makes it smooth. You don't need to add a bunch of points in order to get that smoothness. So if that's what you want, I recommend using the Curvature Tool. So let's say I'm looking at this point now, and I don't really want it to be pointy. I think I want this one to be curved. I can click it with this tool, and it'll give me a curve. Click and drag. Or if I want the opposite, I want it to be back to a point, I can click it again. So I'm just going to go over that again. If I want it to be a curve, I can click and drag, and it'll give me this arch. But if I want it to be a point, again, I can just return it back with a click. So that is the anchor point tool. I can fill in this shape if I want, because it is like a full shape. So I can hit this button, which is essentially switching the fill and the outline color, the fill and the stroke. So if I want to fill it in, I can fill it in. If I want to adjust anything else, like, for example, if I wanted to keep smoothing out these lines, I can hover over and adjust it with the Curvature Tool. But that's essentially the basics of the pen tool. So there you go. That's how to use the pen tool in Adobe Illustrator.